My father always set 4 places for Thanksgiving dinner. Even after my sister Emily vanished. Even after the police stopped searching. Even after my mother refused to say her name. Emily's plate stayed at the end of the table beside the window, with a folded napkin and a glass of water no one was allowed to touch. I was 10 when she disappeared from the Blackwater County Fair in 1998. She was 9. 1 minute she was behind me in line for the Ferris wheel wearing a yellow raincoat. The next, she was gone. Dad spent the rest of his life waiting for her to come home. At least, that is what I believed until last November when I returned to Pennsylvania to empty his house. On Thanksgiving night, I found the table set for 4. Dad had been dead for 11 days. I put 3 plates in a box and carried Emily's plate to the kitchen. The moment I lifted it from the table, someone knocked 3 times from inside the pantry. I stood in the kitchen holding the plate against my chest. The pantry door was 6 feet away. It had a cheap brass knob and 3 scratches near the bottom from our old dog, Cooper. Cooper had been dead almost 20 years. I told myself a mouse had knocked over a jar. Then the knob turned halfway and stopped. I opened the door. Nothing was inside except canned peaches, Dad's toolbox, and the red cooler we used for football games. But the linoleum was wet. Small bare footprints crossed the pantry floor and ended beneath the lowest shelf. I slept at a motel that night. In the morning, I came back with coffee and found Emily's plate on the dining table. Clean, dry, exactly where Dad used to put it. I blame myself. Grief does strange things to memory. I must have carried it back without noticing. So I took a picture, wrapped the plate in a towel, and locked it in the trunk of my car. When I returned to the dining room, the 4th place setting was still there. This time, the glass of water was half empty. Dad kept every receipt, every warranty, every birthday card. It took me an hour to find the box marked Emily in the basement. Inside were newspaper clippings, search maps, and 6 cassette tapes. The first 5 were interviews Dad had recorded after she disappeared. The 6th had no date, just 1 word written in black marker, Thanksgiving. Dad's voice began over the hiss of old tape. He sounded younger, breathless. He said Emily came home 3 nights after the fair. At 2:13 in the morning, she knocked on the back door wearing the yellow raincoat. Mom ran toward her, but Dad stopped her. Something was wrong with Emily's smile. It arrived a second too late, as though the face had to remember how. Cooper hid under the table and wet the floor. Dad asked the girl what she had eaten at the fair. Emily had begged for powdered donuts all afternoon. The girl at the door answered cotton candy. Then she looked past him at the dining room and asked in Emily's voice, "Where is my place?" Dad ended the recording with a warning. Never let it stand. Never let it wander. Give it a chair, give it a plate, and clear the table before midnight. The tape clicked off. Upstairs, a chair scraped across the dining room floor. I checked my phone. 11:43. The 4th chair had been pulled away from the table. Wet footprints led from it into the hallway. I called my mother. She lived in Arizona and had not returned to Blackwater since she left Dad in 2004. When I told her about the tape, she became quiet. Then she asked whether the plate was still on the table. I said yes. She told me to sit across from it and wait. "Your father did this every year," she said. "It wants to be remembered. If you give it a place, it has to behave like family, but if the chair is empty when midnight comes, it can choose another place." I asked why she had never told me. Mom started crying. She said Dad had not spent 25 years waiting for Emily. He had spent 25 years keeping whatever came home from choosing me. Something moved at the top of the stairs. A girl's voice called my childhood nickname. Only Emily had ever called me Teddy. "Don't answer," Mom whispered. The hallway light went out. Then another voice, much closer, said, "You took my plate." I ran to the car. The plate was still locked in the trunk, wrapped in Dad's old Steelers towel. A crack now ran through the center. From the house came the sound of cabinets opening one by one. I carried the plate inside and placed it at the empty chair. The footprints stopped. Mom told me to serve food, any food. I found turkey slices, instant potatoes, and a can of cranberry sauce. My hands shook so badly I dropped the spoon. 11:56. I filled the fourth plate and sat across from it. The chair moved closer to the table. No one was sitting there, but the cushion slowly sank. The fork lifted. It cut through the turkey. I watched the food disappear one bite at a time. Then the dining room window reflected a girl in a yellow raincoat sitting across from me. She was 9 years old. Her hair was wet. Her smile arrived a second too late. The reflection leaned forward and asked, "Do you remember me?" Mom shouted through the phone for me not to answer. But the face in the glass was Emily's face. And for 1 second, I was 10 years old again, holding her hand at the county fair. I said yes. Every light in the house went out. The phone went dead. In the darkness, the person across from me began to chew faster. Bone cracked between its teeth, even though I had served sliced turkey. I could smell rain, fried dough, and the muddy grass of the fairgrounds. Then a small hand reached across the table and closed around mine. It was ice cold. Emily whispered, "I knew you would save me a place." Midnight struck. The grandfather clock chimed once, although Dad had never repaired it. When the lights returned, the chair was empty. The food was gone. On the table lay a Polaroid I had never seen before. It showed my family at Thanksgiving in 1999. Dad was carving turkey. Mom was looking away from the camera. I was smiling with a gap between my front teeth. And Emily was sitting beside me in her yellow raincoat. On the white border, Dad had written, "It learns us when we remember it." I turned the photograph over. There was another sentence written more recently in the shaky handwriting he had near the end of his life. "Ethan, if you answered her, do not go home alone." I did not listen. I drove back to Ohio the next morning. My wife, Claire, said I looked sick. I told her the house had stirred up old memories. I did not tell her about the plate wrapped in the trunk, or the wet footprints that appeared beside the driver's seat whenever I stopped for gas. For months, nothing else happened. Then our 6-year-old daughter started talking to someone in her bedroom. She called her Aunt Emily. She knew about the yellow raincoat. She knew my childhood nickname. Last week, Claire asked why our daughter had set an extra place at the dinner table. I told her it was an imaginary game. That night, I found a photograph on my phone taken while we slept. A girl in a yellow raincoat stood between our bed and the wall. Her smile was almost perfect. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I bought a new table this morning. It has room for 4. Claire thinks her mother is coming to dinner. She keeps asking why I look so nervous. I have not told her the truth. There will be 4 places at our table tomorrow. But there are 5 people in this house.